fascinating character, riddled with contradictions, bigger than life, and probably the iconic face of the latter part of the 20th century. But one quick Ali story. After he beat Sonny Liston to win the heavyweight championship of the world, he was flying back to his hometown, I think it was Louisville, Kentucky. When he was on the plane, he didn't buckle his seatbelt. And the stewardess came up to him and reminded him that he had to buckle the belt, and he said, "Superman don't need no seatbelt." And without missing a beat, the stewardess said, "Superman don't need no airplane." You laugh. Let me change gears ever so slightly and say that almost every family has its own rituals. In my particular tribe, whether it was playing catch with my dad or reading bedtime stories to my kids, I naively assumed that all these regular occurrences would go on forever. When these rituals did come to an end, I wasn't all that aware of it at the time. It was only later that I saw their finality in the rearview mirror. When my dad chucked his beat-up old Spalding left-handed baseball glove in the front hall closet after our final long toss, I didn't recognize that we had just had our last catch. Of course, we kept that glove in the closet, where we always kept it, for there should be a next time. In the same way, one night many years later, after I finished reading aloud Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, or was it Danny Champion of the World, there's no way I would have thought, that's it, David and William, you're on your own from now on, you can read yourselves. No, I'm sure those books were plopped right there on the nightstand where they always stayed. After all, there'd always be another night, another book to read together. This morning, by contrast, I'm aware, profoundly aware, that this is the last time I'll have a chance to talk to you here in Laidlaw Hall. I think that this awareness, along with the words of wisdom I've recently received from having attended 3 commencement exercises in the past couple of weeks, makes me want to offer some advice for the long haul. So I hope you'll indulge me if I go colonial on you for just a couple minutes. By the way, the one line that I've actually remembered from my own college graduation came from courtesy of George Will, who said, "I believe in the state of Ohio automobile view of history. That is, in the state of Ohio in the year 1895, there were 2 cars and they crashed. In other words, bad things happen, we've got to be prepared." There will, of course, be magical mornings in Muskoka and beautiful evenings on Bloor Street, but you don't need any help from me with those moments. You're on your own. No, this morning I want to offer a word of advice for when bad things happen. And unfortunately, they will. They happen to all of us. Even if you eat your vegetables, do your sit-ups, and really learn to pass a ed. No matter what you do, someday there's a good chance you'll hear a boss say, "It's time for you to find a new job." Or a partner confess, "It's not you, it's me." Or a doctor mutter when he can give you some bad news. I call these moments the big arbitrary, because despite your most conscientious efforts, you cannot control them. I'll come back to big arbitrary in a minute, but before that, I want to tell you why I was really nervous about becoming the principal of UCC 12 years ago, and about how a word of advice from a friend made things much better for me. I wasn't nervous about moving to a new country, or even learning how to skate backwards. I wasn't even worried about my French accent. C'est la vie. No, what made me queasy was the fact that I knew that a significant portion of my job would involve fundraising. And while I'm wildly, passionately, and over-the-top committed to financial aid, I had never ever asked anyone other than my parents for money. And the thought of doing this on a regular basis made me almost nauseous. Fortunately for me, I had a colleague give me some great advice. Asking for money is the very last thing I should think about. My job of advancement was really about getting to know people who could help the school, people who could help boys, and the best way to do that was to listen very closely, especially when they told stories. I hadn't thought about this before, but it's true that everyone has a story, a tale that reveals something about their coming of age, or about what made them who they are, or about how they survived a challenge or difficulty that might have otherwise overwhelmed them. You may not be aware of your own story just yet, but it's there somewhere, perhaps still in the formative stages of your unconsciousness. One old boy from Hong Kong told me about how kind his English teacher, Mr. Webb, was when he first came to UCC, and about how Marshall helped him understand King Lear, even though the new international boy could found English almost incomprehensible. More than one old boy has told me about how Andrew Turner and Brent McKay, men who were their coaches and dorm masters, were also wonderful father figures for them when they moved into weds and cities. There are lots and lots of stories about the men and women who shaped the boys and men of UCC. It's those stories, by the way, that keep graduates connected to the school long after the leaving class ceremony is a distant memory. It's those stories that really matter, long after facilities and programs and academic prizes have drifted into the hazy past. Which brings me back into what I call the big arbitrary. At the risk of self-indulgently going Dr. Phil on you, I'd like to tell you my story as I walk out the door. It goes like this. My dad was an alcoholic. I wasn't aware of this when I was a kid because he went to work every day at the Lansdowne post office. Like many people at the time, I assumed that alcoholics were the poor, unemployed men I'd seen on Skid Row. My dad, by contrast, was so determined to prove to my mom that he wasn't an alcoholic that he didn't even take a single vacation day for 10 years. Even in hindsight, his drinking didn't seem all that different from the other men who lived in our hard-scrabble, blue-collar, redneck, red house neighborhood. When I was in junior high school, though, my dad really tried to sober up, and he started attending something called Alcoholics Anonymous, a program designed to help people with addiction issues. I often went along to the 12-step meetings myself, because initially at least, I wanted to do everything I could to help my dad. I confess that I walked around on eggshells because I always felt that if I messed up, that might set him off and he'd go out on a tube. I realize now that that wasn't clear thinking on my part, but that's how my mind worked in those days. By the way, there are all kinds of 12-step meetings today. Besides AA, there's also Narcotics Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, and Overeaters Anonymous, to name just a few. What all these groups have in common, in addition to sloping steps and principles designed to promote self-awareness and sobriety, is a common prayer, a prayer that's said aloud by the whole group at the end of each meeting. The prayer, written initially by the theologian Reinhold Niebuhr, is God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I'd like to offer 3 observations or takeaways on Niebuhr's prayer. First, the prayer starts with the term God, and that term can be something of a problem for a lot of people. AA tries to diffuse this by referring to God simply as a higher power. Many members don't believe in the theology of any kind, so while a higher power can reflect the traditional understanding of God, it can also involve a belief in a group, or in nature, or in anything or anyone you might turn to for help. Don't let the fact that you had a miserable minister or a rotten rabbi ruin things for you. The point is, we all need to be, or we need to learn to be humble enough to ask for help. Humility is the key to getting better. Second, the prayer begins with a request for acceptance, for accepting what you cannot change. The hard truth here is that you can't change many, perhaps even most things. I couldn't stop my dad from drinking. You and I can't change the economy, the weather, geopolitical strategy in the Middle East, the designated hitter rule, the Ivy grading scheme, or someone else's lousy mood. There are all kinds of things out there over which you and I have absolutely no control. It's hard, it can be frustrating, we all get out at times, but we need to come to grips with that simple truth. Third is a request for courage, courage to change what you can. And the insight here is that the only thing you really can change is yourself and how you look at the world. Aristotle, you can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. Viktor Frankl, a Jew who survived the Nazi death camp and knew a thing or two about dealing with adversity, pointed out that ultimate freedom is the way you choose to look at things. We aren't always conscious of this, but we always have a choice. This can be a dreary, depressingly dark day. It can be a great day for a cup of tea and a good book. How we view things is a personal decision, and we should train ourselves to be conscious of that. So remember, that when the big arbitrary joke slaps you, as it inevitably will, I hope you remember the serenity prayer. I hope you remember to control the controllable and accept what you can. Speaking of the controllable, I want to tell you that despite a couple of initial slips after coming out of rehab, my dad did an amazing thing. He spent the last 42 years of his life sober, living, as they say in AA speak, one day at a time. He kept going to his meetings, and along the way, he helped others who had their own battles with alcoholism. Near the end of his life, he told me that he felt that becoming an alcoholic had actually been a blessing to him, because AA had made him a better man. He had a good rearview mirror, too. At his funeral, which took place 5 years and 2 days ago, not that anybody's counting, I was stunned by the number of guys our age and even a little bit younger, men I'd never met before, who thanked me for what my dad had done to help them on their road to sobriety. I'll end this morning by pointing out that there is a thread of sorts that links all of us to the web of generations of geography. And I'm conscious of the fact that, since I haven't had an original idea since 1983, most of what I've thrown on you these Monday mornings these past few years has been an echo of what my father told me. If you caught 1 or 2 sliders, that's great. And I hope you'll cross-train the ball into yourself in the future as well. Even if you don't have your own beat-up, old Spalding left-hander baseball. Thank you very much.